All right, so today we are diving into something truly fascinating. It's a framework that suggests your personality, your dreams, even the career you're drawn to are all just echoes from a life you lived before this one.
I mean, it's a question we all ask ourselves, right? Why are you drawn to certain things and just not interested in others? Why do some things feel so completely natural, so instinctive?
Well, the source material we're digging into today has a pretty wild idea about that. It says the clues to who you are right now, they aren't just in your childhood or your genetics. Nope, they're actually leftovers from who you used to be.
So the big question is, how do you find these clues? Well, the author of this framework says you don't need to go to a psychic or anything like that. You just have to learn how to really look at yourself. The traces are apparently hiding right out in the open.
The whole idea is built on this concept of a holographic life. Think about it like a spiritual hard drive. Every journey, every single existence is all encoded inside of you. Now, most of the time this information is tucked away, but it flashes out in little moments, in our gut feelings, our weird talents, and our deepest desires.
And this leads to such a cool way of looking at people. The source calls humanity a great menagerie, basically a giant collection of souls from all these incredibly different origins. It suggests the reason we're all so different is that we literally come from different spiritual realms.
And you can really see that diversity here. Just look at this breakdown. Someone from what's called God's realm is said to have chaotic thinking, while someone from Buddha's realm has formless thinking. Now, the text doesn't get super specific on what those mean, but they're presented as totally distinct ways of processing the world. You've got the immortal type, always looking for freedom and happiness. And on the flip side, someone from the demon realm actually thrives on conflict. It even gets into things like diet, suggesting that a past life as a carnivore or an herbivore could explain your food preferences today.
Okay, now let's see how this gets even more specific. The author actually connects past animal lives to modern jobs. So for example, if you have this deep gut-level pull to be a police officer, a real desire to catch the bad guys, this framework might say that's the echo of a past life as a cat. But if you're more driven to be a soldier, to protect your home and your country, that could be your inner dog coming through.
It even dissects things from our subconscious, like dreams. I mean, who hasn't had a dream about flying, right? But according to this, how you fly is the real clue. If you're soaring freely, joyfully, with this feeling of being totally detached from the world down below, that's supposedly a sign of a heavenly origin. But if you're flying and you still feel really connected to the ground, to human stuff, that's seen as an echo of being a bird.
And the list of these archetypes goes on, and they get really specific. You have the sage, who has this incredible intelligence. Then there's the Yal, a kind of goblin spirit, who's super charming but also incredibly selfish. You've got the Chime Wangliang, a petty demon who's always using little tricks. There's even an echo of a domestic animal, which shows up as a personality that just quietly endures hardship. And of course, there's the soul who was human before, defined by a natural, deep love for their family and country.
So, okay, if our past is basically etched into our personality now, what about the future? What decides where we go next? Well, this is where the framework pivots, and it all comes down to one thing: our consciousness.
This brings us to the most important principle in this whole system. It's summed up in one powerful phrase: consciousness determines existence. This idea is the key to unlocking everything else.
So what on earth does that mean? It's actually pretty straightforward. Your next life is built out of what's in your mind right now. The author uses this incredible example of Hani elders living in a super remote valley. He argues that they'll probably be reborn right back in that same valley because it's the only world their consciousness really knows. In other words, to go somewhere else, you first have to be able to imagine it. Your own awareness literally sets the boundaries for your next life.
And that leads us to the final piece of the puzzle, and maybe the most useful part. It's all about how our thoughts and actions today are literally planting the seeds for the life we'll have tomorrow.
The system lays out a really clear cause and effect path. Cruelty has direct results. Harming animals could mean you come back as one. Taking a human life leads to a hell realm. Things like cheating and stealing, that leads to the animal realm. And this one is fascinating: debt. Any unpaid debt, whether it's money or a broken heart, apparently ties you to that place and that situation in your next life. On the other hand, simple things like kindness, hard work, and loving your family, that's the path to coming back as a human.
But here's the good news. This isn't a life sentence. The author really emphasizes that you can clear the board. But it takes action. It's not just about saying you're sorry. If you hurt animals, you have to actively love and protect them now. If you owe someone, you have to repay them.
And all of that is balanced by just doing good things to build up that positive karma.
And for anyone looking to level up beyond the human cycle, there are specific paths to higher realms. If you clear all your debts and your main goal is just pure freedom, that could lead to a millennium realm. If you can find a state of joy that has nothing to do with your physical body, that points to a 10,000-year realm. And it goes even higher. If you can cultivate the consciousness of a Buddha or walk the path of God, you open up the possibility of these incredible paradises.
Now, the author is really clear on one thing. None of this is meant to be a way to judge people or a reason to get all worked up. It's offered as a map, like a GPS for your soul, to help you figure out where you might have been, and way more importantly, where you're going.
So, in the end, it all comes back to you, doesn't it? If your personality, your dreams, and what's in your mind right now are the compass, the real question this whole thing leaves us with is, where is your map pointing?